story time. We're going to jump into Mark 4:35. And this is a big flex story. So I hope you're ready to get comfortable. So in this story, Jesus and his homies, the disciples, 12 of them, get into a boat. And they're about to go over across the sea. Jesus is like, I'm headed to the stern to take a nap. And the disciples are like, I bet. But in the midst of Jesus trying to take this nap, the storm starts coming. Bap, bap, winds blowing. Water's, gosh, I don't know why my water sounds like this, but it is. The water's going. The wind's blowing. And this makes the disciples feel like, why is this happening to us? We're with the great I am. Why is this happening? So they go to the stern where Jesus is sleeping. Wake him up and say, hey, Jesus, we about to die. When they're not about to die. But Jesus looks at him and is like, I bet. Gets up. He goes and looks at the water and looks at the wind. And he rebukes the wind and tells the water to be still. This is a big flex moment, but not a surprise to the disciples because they've seen him do miracles before. In this moment, I'm imagining the disciples drop-jawed, gagged, red-cheeked, embarrassed. Because Jesus looks at him and is like, so you woke me up for what? Ye of little faith. And I feel like that's a biblical burn because you walk with me, you ride with me, you know I create miracles. So why are you doubting me right now? And that's when they look at each other, the disciples, the writers, the homies, and they're like, we ride with an OG from heaven. So why am I telling you this story? It's important to understand that even if the disciples who literally walk with Jesus doubt God sometimes. In the midst of the storm, it's normal that we do too. But we need to actually be armored to understand how to identify the storm, how we used to handle the storm, and how we can go forward in alignment with God so that we're not panicking and thinking we're going to die when Jesus is just trying to take a nap. And this is a great story to dissect from. So let's jump in. We are going to understand storms. We're going to understand how we handled the storms. How we can learn from our mistakes, because that's the purpose of why we have breath in our lungs, not to be perfect, but to learn every day. And connected to some Bible verses that are going to help armor us against the storm season, because the enemy is going to come during the storm season to distract us from why God gave us the storm in the first place. So, we talked about Mark 4:35. We talked about the disciples and how they doubted and they had lack of faith. There's so many times where we have lack of faith when a storm's reoccurring. Why am I facing this financial issue again? Why am I facing this relationship issue where I'm getting cheated on again? I'm getting laid off of my job. I have depression and it just keeps happening. I don't want it to keep happening. God, why is this happening? Those are called reoccurring storms. They come to make you strong, not to destroy you. We also have the uprooters. It's beautiful outside. It's blue skies. And then out of nowhere, wind. Bah. You're literally seeing trees. You're seeing people that were connected to you from the beginning, family, relationships being uprooted. You're being uprooted from an old job. Things are moving around you, and you may also be moving in the storm. So we need to understand why God's moving us in the midst of this storm, or moving things around us in the midst of the storm. Lastly, we're going to dissect the man-made storm. This is where you don't have the confidence or understand your identity in Christ, and you allow yourself to live in this makeshift, man-made, devil-influenced, doubtful world. That may be a reality check moment, but I'm not going to come for your scalp the whole time. But I do want to connect to this.